Okay, so for this critique, I am going to be critiquing Brianna Goodman's carved biomorphic abstraction. So starting out with the describe part, the artwork is kind of a foam sculpture featuring more abstract and organic forms. There are multiple rounded, kind of like hollowed out sections, and those are like the negative spaces. The overall structure is very smooth and it has flowing curves that kind of help create a sense of motion. It's a very dynamic piece. And it is also mounted on a solid kind of like rectangular base, and it matches the sculpture in its color. And the color of this is just kind of the muted like lavender kind of for the foam, I guess. And then kind of just the materials used, it really is just kind of that foam. And then it doesn't look like it's been like finished with anything, but it does look like it has been like sanded down and smoothed. To analyze, the loops are kind of like interconnected, and the form is very like dynamic and creates lots of openings of kind of both positive and negative space. And the sculpture, it kind of like the balance relies on these stacked curves, which suggests kind of like movement and stability, at least for me. And then the texture and surface, it appears like a little bit rough, but deliberately kind of refined and sanded down. And then kind of talking about more lighting and shadows, the hollow kind of negative spaces allow light to pass through, creating some more like interesting shadows and adding depth to the whole piece. To interpret, I think that this piece could explore maybe some themes of like connection, balance, the loops and the hollow kind of negative spaces. Could maybe for me like represent kind of like changing cycles or relationships. And then the organic kind of designs, it reminds me of like waves or like maybe tree branches coming together or something like that. It just kind of seems like it's just very connected to me. Kind of my emotional response to this, it seems very calm, and I like how it kind of like, it doesn't end the sculpture, like the kind of curves, it seems like it just all ties together and is flowing. To evaluate, I would say that the strengths of this piece are a very like harmonious form, kind of like a great use of space, and kind of the abstract nature helps kind of like draw me in, and it makes me want to like interpret it more. Maybe some areas for improvement, which I know I guess we'll do this later, but maybe adding obviously some color or texture some more, I think could really enhance this piece, going with that kind of, again, the fluid kind of balanced theme. But I think that the overall impact of the sculpture is it's very well crafted. It leaves me with a very strong sense of movement and balance, and it really just draws me into kind of the abstract narrative, and it highlights the artist's skill in kind of shaping these dynamic forms. So great job.